All right, mates, welcome back. Crypto Leverage Trading Group. Hope everybody is doing well on Friday. Want to do a little go live here. Want to talk about a couple things that's happening. Probably express some opinions that many probably don't have. Many probably wouldn't articulate. Just really based on where I am located in this thing we call the world. Kind of what's happening, give you a little bit of perspective from what's happening here on the street. And what I mean by that is, I live in a political bubble, in a sense, a political vacuum, and one of the largest in the world, obviously, in the Washington, D.C. area of the United States, okay? And so you hear everything that's happening in the government, all right? I mean, most of the people that live here either work for the government, are consultants for the government, are contractors for the government. I mean, that's just how it works. Whether you live in the district, whether you live in Maryland to the north, Virginia, Northern Virginia to the south, it's pretty much a federal bureaucracy in terms of how people are embedded in this. It could be federal government or local governments. Local governments are huge in Fairfax, Loudoun, Montgomery County, Arlington County, all around DC, and then the district, okay? And so you constantly live in a political bubble. You constantly are hearing what's happening, right? And in terms of crypto, it really gives you a little bit of different perspective than what's happening on the media, especially the financial media, which really just kind of paints crypto with a broad brush. Here in the States, it gives the government, depending on who is running the government. Now, I want to reiterate this fact for those people who don't live here in the United States, and especially don't, at least on the East Coast of the United States, that kind of don't have an understanding really of, you have the president and the executive, but then you have everybody else who works in the government. And an argument could be made, it really doesn't matter, really, what part. It's a game show. What party is in control in the country? I don't know what it's like, in the UK. I don't know what it's going to be like in Israel with Netanyahu being replaced. I don't know what it's like in Germany because I don't live there. But here, people are entrenched government employees for decades until retirement. They don't change their political views, regardless of who the president is. The president has to work, okay? Has to work, and the cabinet members, and in particular Treasury, okay, which and the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, okay, which it gets involved in crypto, has to work with these thousands of employees that have been at their desk for decades, okay, and try and get them to move a certain way. Right? And that's why things take so much time and it's so slow. A president has 4 years in the United States to get shit done. 4 years. Now, barring COVID, okay, and we've seen the government be absolutely reactionary to a fault, okay, and maybe you've seen that in your country about how they reacted and what they did to address COVID. Quick, right? But everything else is slow. Everything else is stuck in the mud. And it's because the bureaucracy of the people who are doing all the work. The guy on TV isn't doing the work. The guy you see giving the speech isn't the one doing the work. The elected official who's on TV on CNN in America, whatever, he ain't doing the work. He or she's not even writing the bills anymore. They don't even read the bills in this country anymore. Okay? They don't. It's a racket. It's a game. Okay? And they just each side blames each other, and that's it. Okay? Crypto, fundamentally, if you think about it, is about breaking away from that nonsense. The gridlock, the lockdown. It's about freedom. It's about individuals having the freedom in terms of their money, in terms of moving their money, in terms of their financial security, not tied to a government program. See, That's what's at the heart of all of this that's happening right now that nobody's talking about. Because most people on YouTube and on crypto don't live here. So 2 words, China FUD. What do you really think was behind China FUD? Now, I know what people are going to say. Oh, the China crackdown and throwing out the miners and, the hash rate. And there comes to a point, and you know me, if you've been following this channel, I am a pure on-chain analyst, on-chain metrics. I follow those services. I follow on-chain metrics and technical analytics when I talk about leverage trading. Okay. But I also take a macro view as to what's happening in the world politically. Okay. And then when people come together and they get on YouTube and they have all these bantering and 5 guys on the screen, I'm talking about whatever it is they're talking about. Okay. It's entertainment. And sometimes you can take away some things, but for the most part, it's not reality based. It's opinion based. Okay. And whether it's based in fact or not, is up to the viewer to decide. Okay. But let's take a second and talk about what we hear the most about Bitcoin right now. And everything's rear view, right? Because, and I'm guilty of that, because when you look at technical analytics, it's rear view. Okay. It is rear view. It's historical probabilities. This is what's happened. This is what normally happens. This is what could preview, foreshadow what's going to happen. You're looking rear view to help you determine what Bitcoin may do in the future. And so you're looking back at waypoints in the history of Bitcoin, okay, to justify whatever narrative. We see this in the media all the time. How they portray the news starts with what their political objective is. On YouTube, how they will disseminate the information to you is predicated upon what their view is. Maybe it's their investment. Maybe it's their open trades and leverage. Maybe it's a project that they're shilling that they got in on early on. Okay. You don't know. Okay. So that's why you've got to be real careful. And this is why I say I follow the social media index. Okay. Which is a metric that gauges what's the activity happening on social media related to cryptocurrency. When it's really, really high, I'm very, very cautious, right? And that's when I will use shorts, sell downs, and short trades and cover positions. Anyone who's not covering large positions today in cryptocurrency is borderline on the crazy, okay? Because you just don't, right now, there's this, okay? And so you just don't know, right? You don't have the support. It's like you're going to schedule a party, right? And, 4th of July is coming up, okay? For those of us who live in the States, okay? Independence Day, right? You're going to have a party. You're going to send out all the invitations, okay? But you don't know who's really coming. You don't know who's going to come, right? You try to get people to RSVP, right? But you don't know who's going to show up. You don't know who's going to come, right, to this party that you're having, right? And that's kind of like what Bitcoin is right now. Retail investors in Bitcoin, people who own less than $1,000, let's say people who own less than $1,000 in Bitcoin, okay? You don't know if they're going to show back up in this market tomorrow, this weekend. You don't. 4 months ago, 3 months ago, you damn sure knew they were going to show up, right? FOMO on the weekends. We used to call it LVS, low volume Saturday. Boom, boom. Those people work Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. They get into their crypto. They look at crypto. They read all the news, all that, boom, they get buy crypto, okay? It was like clockwork, right? Now, anyone who's in our group knows that Saturdays and Sundays now have actually gone the other way. Now people are selling, okay? So the retail investors are kind of they're not coming to the party right now, right? They're not showing up, okay? And so you're asking, oh, why? China FUD, Elon Musk FUD, There's insecurity in the market, right? For the average person who's not tracking this stuff every day like me or like you, right? They're just catching the news on the radio on the way home, or a buddy at work, or in the coffee shop, whatever, they're hearing stuff, right? So let me give you a little opinion, and it's just my opinion and my observation on China FUD. China FUD is manufactured. It is politically manufactured. It is politically being manufactured by the Biden administration in the United States. Call me crazy. It's not a conspiracy, okay? It's not a coincidence that within 6 months of Joe Biden being elected president of the United States, who has a long history with China, okay? For China to throw Joe a bone. And that's all it is. And how you know that's all it is look at the Asian exchanges. And I am of the opinion, and it is just my opinion, China's buying Bitcoin. At the same time, they're banning Bitcoin. Okay? At the same time, miners are fleeing, miners are leaving, they're cracking down on miners. That's your China FUD. They're cracking down on miners. Miners aren't allowed to mine Bitcoin in China, where it was really, really relatively cheap to do relative to other countries. And that's the storyline you're hearing. Storyline you're hearing is, oh, big crackdown in China. That's all it is. Crackdown China, banning Bitcoin. Ask yourself why. They're banning Bitcoin because it's a bone for the Biden administration, who's very pro-environmental and very you've got elements in the Democratic Party of the United States on this human rights issue. Within the United States, there's a huge social justice movement, okay? Equality, everything. God bless them, everything, right? Okay? And it's called the social justice movement. So they're looking for equity in everything, okay? You name it. Workplace, school, markets, financial activities, equity, access, everybody equal, right? Across the economic scale. Okay, and this is going to expand to the world, right? Countries like the African continent or in Latin America and other places, people having access and equity, okay, in not only their government, but also their financial thing. But they're also very pro-environmental. So what better way, at the same time, if you remember, Elon Musk's FUD was over what? How much energy is consumed in the mining of Bitcoin? Markets tanked. Okay? 50% of this country, okay, 70 plus million people voted for Joe Biden in the United States. 74 million, I think, and 70 million voted for the other guy. It's a pro-environmental party. It's a climate change party, okay? It's one of their pillars on their platform, okay? China's the worst. China's the worst in the world. They are, for carbon footprint, right? So what better way to get some traction than to say to China behind the scenes, hey, look, this human rights issue is becoming, okay, mainstream now. Like, it's not just the NBA, that's the National Basketball Association here in the United States, Professional Basketball Association, that basically sells out to China, okay? And what I mean by that is they get a shit ton of revenue from China, okay? The Chinese love basketball, all right? Sneakers are all made in China, in sweatshops, okay? The Chinese have locked up people, right? Okay, it's not news, okay? If anyone cares, this is a communist country, okay? And so when we're talking about cryptocurrency and you're talking about the antithesis to crypto. You're talking about a communist country, right? And on the other hand, crypto is about freedom, right? It's about freedom. China's not about freedom. They're about control, right? So why is social media, why is YouTube, why are content providers and influencers always constantly focusing on China? Who gives a shit? Like, They're a communist country. And that's your barometer? That's the barometer? I could care less if Bitcoin is mined in China. I could care less. The reality of it is the set supply and scarcity is already set. It's already set, mates. We already know. As soon as that last Bitcoin is mined, it's done. Scarcity, supply, demand. I don't really care. You don't think people are going to mine Bitcoin in Europe? Russia is going to get back. Now, Russia's on the other side going, okay, let's rethink the cryptocurrency thing now that the Chinese are getting out of the market. Right? So you have two of these forces. You got Elon Musk talking about the environment, and you got China, which talking about the environment without talking about the environment. Because what they did was a bone to Joe Biden because of the mining aspect of cryptocurrency, a perception of using excessive amounts of energy. That's the whole point of it all. Okay? And so China bans miners, hash rate, all that stuff gets impacted. Bitcoin sells back down from 38 to 40,000, back down to 30,000, below 30,000, and then we're back to resuming the cycle. And so why we in America, especially, or the world really, focuses so much on China when, I don't know, 70% of their population probably doesn't even have access to purchase crypto. If you think about it. Like, and look at what China's done in Hong Kong. Like, those of you that are in this group that have been in this group for more than a blink know that we traded on Bit7 forever. Okay. Love that exchange. I hope that the people that created Bit7 get out of Hong Kong, get to London, America, wherever, and put up a new platform. Similar with a couple upgrades to Bit7. Because it was an easy exchange for beginners. You know, it just was. Compared to all the other ones right now that we use. It was just the best in terms of ease of use, right? Understanding. It was easy to teach people how to trade. It's a lot more complicated on some of the other exchanges. And fundamentally, why did Bit7 get shut down? The truth behind Bit7 being shut down is China FUD. China has gone back on its promises or commitments about Hong Kong. They're basically, rolling over Hong Kong. Okay, they basically are. And that's primarily where most of the people. I mean, obviously they had a Swiss address and they got a couple, but trust me when I say it was Hong Kong. Okay. And you know what's happening? They're cracking down on Bitcoin, banning Bitcoin banking, banning these things, right? Not for their own, right? Like, in a sense, like their own, they're still heavily, like, you understand the strength of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin can be used. Okay. And when I say that, I'm saying in both a positive and a negative way in terms of leverage on world economies. Okay. And so it's no sweat off of them to ban Bitcoin on their bank for their people. Like, most people don't own Bitcoin. Like, most people aren't, right? And so that leaves outside the country where these miners will go, and that will be, it's just, okay, it's money, right? People will always find a way to make money. And so these miners are going to find a way in order to mine if they can get out of China and get their equipment out of China. And a lot of times they can't. They've got to rebuy all their equipment. And so what happens to the price of Bitcoin, mates, when all that happens? It FUDs. Because if you're a miner and you're mining Bitcoin, you've been making a killing. Okay? So you get all this Bitcoin. And so if you're mining, you're basically, growing your Bitcoin stack. Let's put it like that. And then this happens. Well, if you got to pick up shop and move to London or move to, Frankfurt or move to, or New York, Atlanta, If you want to pick up and move and join Ben Armstrong in Atlanta, Georgia, BitBoy Crypto, and mine some freaking Bitcoin, you got to buy all the equipment again, right? And so what are you going to use to buy all that equipment? You're going to sell your Bitcoin. That's what happened. I know for a fact that's what happened because I know miners. That's what happened. Okay. And so now they've got to restart. It's going to take them a little while. You know, they're looking at 3 months to 3 to 6 month time frame, and then we're back. They're back to doing their thing. Okay. So that's China FUD. It's political FUD. Okay. China can wake up tomorrow, and they've done it before, and be like, you know what? We're just kidding. Bitcoin's back on. But in the meantime, what happens in the market? You got shaken out. I got shaken out. Your neighbor got shaken out. You know, Mark Cuban got shaken out, whether it's, you know, Titan, you know what I mean? Or whatever. I mean, and then people are buying. And that's what's happened. This is why I say all the time, sometimes the simplest method is the most profitable method. And a lot of people dismiss it. A lot of people dismiss the RSI QRT. I get friggin' hate mail. Like, oh, well, no, nobody uses RSI anymore. Well, I use RSI every day. Most people in our group should use RSI every day. And I could show you umpteen examples of how RSI, for a beginner, is a very easy way to get in the market and to trade the market. And it works. That's just a reality. Been in the game long enough to know that it works. So when we take this rear view mirror look, and that's what technicals do, okay? On-chain is more current to me. On-chain is like what's happening right now on the blockchain, okay? What's happening, okay? So here's an interesting thing I want you guys to think about. And I don't know, you may have heard this elsewhere. I don't really know on the interwebs or whatever. But Ethereum, for only the third time in 4 years, now has more active addresses on a daily basis than Bitcoin. What's that mean? Well, why? What's the explanation? Did Ethereum hasn't gotten caught up in the China FUD, right? Is that, well, we both know, everyone knows in our group, it's still correlated to Bitcoin, but all the negative stuff is Bitcoin. Okay. Meanwhile, Ethereum has been consolidating, working on its network, improving its network. Okay. Still hovering at support lines, critical support at 2000, right? Okay. We've seen it over and over. We've seen it bounce and we've seen it come back. So it's support and bounce off its support. And that's where we use our technicals. And that's where we look at the on-chain. But in a macro sense, what's really happening? Well, China, Elon Musk, Joe Biden, politics, okay, right, could not be overcome. Even El Salvador, okay, with positive Bitcoin news, could not overcome that FUD on the market, okay? Ethereum really wasn't part of that. And so people on the Ethereum, using the Ethereum network, are still on it actively, as opposed to Bitcoin's transactions, right? Because less and less people are buying Bitcoin, okay, on the exchanges and using Bitcoin, because we're in this post-Bitcoin hysteria withdrawal. You know, short-term hodlers or people that have been in cryptocurrency for less than a year have only experienced a hyperbolic bull run. They only experienced waking up the next day and their Bitcoin was higher than it was the day before. Now we're back to looking back in the past where, you know, week to week, you know? And so people aren't as active on the addresses. So what, in essence, what are we really looking at? Bitcoin's addresses have declined almost 60% on a daily basis. Active addresses. 60% decline. Now, some would argue that is a fundamental reason why Bitcoin is now in the $33,000 range, right? Because if Bitcoin were a stock and activity is sales, that would be a massive sales decline. Bitcoin's earnings per share would be declining for the quarter because their product isn't being used. That's an easy way to think about it, mates. Okay? It's not really how crypto thinks, though. And it should think like that long term in terms of acceptance and adoption of networks. Okay? That's why I think Ethereum still way undervalued for its potential long term. Not financial advice, but long term. Okay? So Ethereum basically is transacting about 200,000 more, or I should put it this way, 200,000 or so addresses are actively using Ether and the Ethereum network more so than Bitcoin. So 200,000 more, okay, on a daily basis. Only for the third time. And the other times were last month in June. And you got to go all the way back to 2017, which I'm going to cover right now. Okay, 2017. A lot of people want to talk about Bitcoin 2021, 2017. Okay, and what all that means. I'm not a big subscriber to that. I mean, I understand why they do it because they have to legitimize that what their opinion is. Well, it did the bull market 2013, 2017. Well, here's the thing about it. When you look at things like that and you solely only look at the chart, you miss things. Okay? Which is why we use on-chain metrics and why we use the macro. Okay? Because if you look at the chart doesn't tell you about elections. Chart doesn't tell you about COVID pandemic, right? It's just up, down, whatever. Okay, and you're using that. So let's look at the differences. Well, in 2017, until the end, December of 2017 into 2018, before a big dump, you didn't really have institutional, okay, futures, contracts, options. You didn't really have any of that in 2017. You got tons of that now. Okay, big difference. Okay. 2017, you were 1 year out of an election in the United States. Donald Trump was elected in 2016. He went into office in January of 2017. So throughout all of 2017, he was the elected president. Okay. So you knew he was going to be in office, or suspected he was going to be in office for the next 4 years. They tried to impeach him like a dozen times. I don't know. I lost count. It's just ridiculousness. But it makes for great theater for the media. And 2017, okay, it's stable. Like, whether you like Trump or not like Trump, or like the fact he got elected or not, is irrelevant. He's going to be president for the next 4 years, okay? Now flash to 2020. We had an election in the United States in 2020, okay? And now we're starting it over again, right? Joe Biden went in January. Okay, so at 2020, we had a big move in crypto. And then into the first few months of 2021, and now we're getting this FUD that we're experiencing from outside the country and from inside our government, for the most part. So you look at those periods and you're like, but what happened in the middle of that? Well, pandemic happened in March of 2020 around the world. Okay. 2017 didn't experience any of that. 2013 didn't experience any of that. Okay. That's a phenomenon, an anomaly that drove the market down, that kind of over-influenced the market, right? Like, just did. Okay. World markets, right? Had nothing to do with crypto, nothing to do with Bitcoin, nothing to do with Ethereum. It had to do with the world, people's fear, right? But so throughout the rest of 2020, people had no problem bidding up Bitcoin. Like it's like this. And it's funny and sad at the same time. Americans will buy anything if you tell them it's on sale, right? If you tell an American they're getting 20% off, 30% off, they think it's a bargain, they think it's a steal, boom, they're going to buy it, okay? They like to buy stuff on sale, except for crypto, right? The old adage is stocks, okay? But it's crypto. So people were buying up Bitcoin all the way to 64,000. Now Bitcoin's under 35,000 and you can't convince your neighbor to drop $1,000 in Bitcoin. And you have to ask yourself why it is. It's behavior, right? Because now they think it could go at 20. Current value is 34,000. I might be able to get it at 10% off, 20% off. I might be able to get it on sale. It's already on sale, is my point. Scarcity, supply, demand. It's already on sale, and they don't know it. Because it's not how they're taught. That's not how they're taught to perceive crypto or to perceive the market of a supply and demand. They're not taught that cryptocurrency is the equivalent of generated commodity, okay, on the blockchain. So your perception of cryptocurrency should be it's a commodity, not a stock, not a bond, right? It's a commodity. It's based on supply and demand. Nobody cares how many shares are outstanding of Facebook or Google. Nobody cares. Why? Because they look at price to earnings multiple. If it's a stock, they look at earnings per share, right? Based on what are their earnings this quarter, okay? Relative to what the market thought they were going to earn, right? Look at circulating supply. It's a commodity. Supply and demand. How many coins are out there available? How many coins will be out there available a year from now, 5 years from now, right? And when you have a max supply of circulating supply, that gives you a little bit of indication. And what happens when scarcity sets in? Prices go up like everything else. Did we not just see that in the COVID around the world? Paper products, water, okay? Something happens, a natural disaster happens. What happens to the availability of products like water, okay? Paper products, toilet paper, right? People go and freaking hoard it, creating scarcity. Now, with Bitcoin, we've already seen this happen. And we're experiencing it right now. And people aren't recognizing the opportunity that's in front of them, okay, long term. I'm not talking about today, tomorrow. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about going forward with the development of blockchain, the development of decentralized finance. That is the future, okay? Look at the things that have added on to the internet since 1995, okay? Think about that. What's ahead with the blockchain going forward? People keep building on it. Younger people keep coming and building more innovative solutions, moving more things to the blockchain, okay? Meanwhile, bank branches are closing down, right? Because if you could do everything on the blockchain or on the internet, do you need brick and mortar anymore? Right? Right? I mean, that's the reality of what else can we put on the blockchain? What else can it do for us, right? In our daily lives. And so that's what's missed about, in terms of fundamentally. So you have these supply concerns with the miners, right? So less Bitcoin potentially is going to be mined in the short term. Why is that not reflective in the price of Bitcoin? And it's because the retail side hasn't shown up. The institution side's showing up, mates. Okay, they're buying Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin on every single dip. Every single dip. Their addresses. Big blocks, whales, buying Bitcoin. 28,000, 29,000, 30,000. That's why you use the IO map, the address activity, and determine your support level for Bitcoin. Because once you determine that level, you are going to know where the institutions are going to enter the market. Okay? They didn't want to enter the market at 64,000, mates. Would you? Like now, what you know now? If you knew that you could get Bitcoin at 45 when it was 64, wouldn't you do it? That's the game, mates. That's what they do. They sat back and watched their Bitcoin go from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Remember the launch? 18,000 launched it. Okay? To 64. Meanwhile, again, Joe and Sally on your street were buying in at 52, 55, 58, 60, 62, 64, right? And then boom. Okay? But they've been buying it. Each RSI level decline of 20 RSI or lower, institutions have been buying. And that's all I care about. That's all I need to know. Okay? Because see, unlike us, we answer to ourselves. And if you're married, you answer to your spouse or your partner, right? Okay? Family, reality, right? And, some would say they answer to God. Okay, fair enough. Okay? But in terms of finances, when you make decisions, you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to look your spouse or your partner in the mirror in terms of whatever decision that you made, right? Institutions have clients that they have to look in the face. Okay? So they have done their due diligence. They have understood why they are making the trade, exactly when they're going to make a trade, and what their parameters are for that trade. What's your plan? That's my question for you. What's your plan? Because that's where all this has to start. Okay? Right now. If you missed the $30,000 to $64,000 run, fair enough. You were like, man, I can't believe I missed it. How many times have we had that? How many times have we heard that from people? Oh my God, if only I had bought Bitcoin in 2015. If only I had bought in Bitcoin. If only. Okay. Well, you're going to get a second time. You're going to get a second chance right now. Right now, you're going to get a second chance. 33,000 right now. May go back down below 32,000 here this weekend before we go back to 40,000. Okay. And then when you get to 40,000, you were going to be like, if only I had bought it at 30, 32, right? If only. Here's the thing. If you set your plan based on the RSI data, and you can use MACD too as well, historically, and the on-chain metrics, active addresses, IO map, where you see the supply and demand barriers. If you just set your plan and you were like machine learned, right? Like, I'm going to program my plan in right here, okay? And it's going to do it automatically. I'm going to create my own bot, and it's going to buy Bitcoin every single time this happens. If, then this, right? Okay? There's your proof of work, right? Okay? If you want to put it in blockchain or proof of stake terminology. And you walk away from it. That's my plan. And you set that plan at 33,000 right now, like whatever, and it just rolled out. But boom, boom. Didn't matter what the market did. It's like people do it in stocks called dollar cost averaging, DCA, right? They don't pay attention to it. Boom. Okay? You'll fundamentally be ahead, not behind. because you'll be setting your RSI zones. I only want to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin falls below an RSI on the daily or a weekly of 18 or 20. Doesn't mean you can't buy in between, but you've set like limits, right? Okay. And then, so every time that happens, you buy 1,000 Bitcoin, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you know, or whatever, depending on what your financial ability is as a DCA. And then you could trade other times, right? You could leverage trade, the movements, whatever. But in terms of adding the stack to your bag, you're only getting in at that level, okay? Long, if you were talking stocks, right? Long. You would be perfectly fine, right? Because we know when you look at the chart for Bitcoin, when it falls below 20, it bounces back. We know that if the weekly or the monthly gets to like 90, we see an onslaught of selling and profit taking, right? It's just what happens. Overbought, oversold, right? You want to be buying when it's oversold. You want to be selling when it's overbought. Take your gains, readjust them back in, okay? And you can fluctuate them between the other coins, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Yearn Finance, Compound, Aave. You want to have exposure, okay, long-term to decentralized finance, okay? Yeah, you need to own Ethereum if that's your plan. Like, I believe decentralized finance is going to lead the next super cycle, okay? Think last summer, mates, okay? Just because there's so many exciting, innovative things that people can touch. You're talking about offering people a higher rate of yield on their money, 8%, 12%, 16%, 24%, versus them going down to their local bank and getting 1% or nothing on their checking account, savings account, right? No one talks about CDs anymore, certificates of deposit, right? Because the rate of return is just so meaningless, okay? People want a better rate of return on their money, and that's where decentralized finance comes in and fills that void, okay? That's why there's so much interest in it, because there's so much money in it and money to be made in it through staking, through liquidity pools, through yield farming, through all of that, okay? That's why. And you're going to see more and more of it because that's where the money is, right? And then where the money ultimately is going to be. Now, let me give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. A direct impact. Things that I work on, things that I do in terms of looking at dApps, looking for solutions, whether it be coding, blockchain, any of that stuff on the Ethereum network. A little bit dabbling on the other ecosystems, full disclosure, but the Ethereum network for decentralized finance. Now, some of you may know, I don't know if everybody knows, I've talked about a lot in our group, Trading Discord. By the way, if you're watching this video and you're not in our free trading community Discord, you need to hop on that so you can get more things. I don't do videos all the time. It's not a big thing for me. But I do, just because of my schedule and just because of home life, kids, family, work, fishing. You know what? I can be anywhere with a Chromebook. I can be anywhere with my phone and basically reply, comment, on that trading community Discord, even more than Facebook. But we do have a Facebook group and we do have Facebook page. You can find it on Facebook at Cryptoballers Mastermind. You can find the group, Crypto Leverage Trading Group on Facebook. You can find us in the trading Discord, Crypto Leverage Trading Group in the Discord. You can find that on YouTube, on the banner for channel page. Just click on that little thing in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can get an invite into that. We're going to transition a lot of that because of what happened. I apologize to everybody in my group, in large part for the delay in rolling out the leverage trading course. But because of what happened to Bit 7, a lot of the things were geared towards the Bit 7 exchange, and not having that exchange, thank you, China, not having that exchange anymore, basically caused to have to go back and revamp a lot of the things. So I apologize for that for those who want the course to be able to follow all of the methods and strategies. And like I tell people all the time, I get this, you know, in my non-crypto life, okay? You know, you have like 12 fishing rods on the deck of your boat. And people who don't understand fishing, okay, are always like, why do you have so many rods? Why do you need so many rods? You can only fish one rod at a time. You can fish more than one rod at a time, but you know what I mean. And the same thing happens to like people who don't play golf. Why do you need 12 clubs in the bag, right? Like what's up with that? I don't understand golf. And the people who don't understand crypto, or the people that are new to crypto, don't understand why you need multiple strategies and methods. Because they apply to different shots, right? If you're playing golf, each club is used for a specific shot, a length from the hole, right? Okay. You don't use a putter like it's a driver. You don't use a driver like it's a putter. Okay. Fishing. Okay. You've got multiple different kinds of spinning rods, you know, bait casting rod, all this stuff, like all this stuff, right? And they're all meant for a certain purpose, a certain opportunity. Okay. So these are things that happen, right? So yesterday, I'm up 6:30 in the morning, big rain. I apologize for anyone who yesterday, because late in the afternoon from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. last night, we had flood warnings, we had power outages, we had all that stuff due to massive storms. But yesterday morning, I knew a storm was coming. Yesterday morning, I was fishing. Now, what I was doing was using a method and a technique of fishing called getting on the frog bite. I was fishing a frog. Okay. I don't normally fish a frog. Hardly ever fish a frog. Okay. But because it was drizzly and because it was overcast and because it was, you know, the temperatures had gone from 90 degrees to 70 degrees, I was looking for a topwater bite. Boom. On it. Method, strategy, plan. Had a plan, had a method, and the strategy. Okay. Boom. Same in crypto. What's your plan? Okay. You looking at these things. What is your plan A, plan B? What's your backup? What's your stop loss gap at? Why are you not setting a stop loss limit order in a market like now? Why? Look, you're going to lose trades. Okay. Everybody loses trades. Okay. The thing that you want to think about is losing trades within your comfort. Okay. That's all it is. Okay. And winning more trades than losing. Okay. And I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it to anybody who's new, anyone like me who follows sports. Okay. If you want to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame in the United States, Major League Baseball, you want to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, you basically, I will guarantee you are in the Hall of Fame, barring any like, you know, craziness like steroids, drug, whatever, off the field. You will be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame if you get it right at the plate 4 out of 10 times, 3 out of 10 times. If you have a batting average of 350 in Major League Baseball, you're going to go to the Hall of Fame. That means that you put the ball in play 3 out of 10 times. Think about that. You'd be in the Hall of Fame. So if you got it right 3 trades out of 10 trades right versus wrong, you'd be in the Crypto Hall of Fame. Right? Depending on, obviously, the financial exposure in each of those trades, to be honest. But you should understand what I'm saying. So it's like you're going to take losses, okay? But the whole point is you determine your loss. The market should never determine your loss. You need to be proactive. You need to have a plan and determine your loss. How you do that is with a stop limit. You're like, boom, okay. I'm not going to wait around. I'm not going to let this thing go all the way back down and come all the way back up. I'm not going to play that game. I picked a bad entry level. Bad timing. Boom, take the loss. Wait it out. Wait for it to fall back down to support again. Re-enter. Boom. Make the money that you lost. Okay. Now, my plan, strategy, plan, all of that stems from long term, you do not know. Okay. And I got a list coming out here that tonight or this weekend. If you sign up for our email update, you can get me at mycryptoballers@gmail.com. If you want the email update, it's free. Like everything else, it's free. I got my listing of pretty much exciting DeFi projects that a lot of people aren't talking about, that are really new, and they're very inexpensive relative to the market. And what I mean by that is a lot of them are under 50 cents to $1. Okay. And then some of them are like $10 and $12, which like begs the question, like, okay, realistically, how can a new decentralized finance project have a market value coin token price of $10 and Cardano be $1.10? Think about it. Everybody knows about Cardano. ADA, everybody knows, right? Why is it $1? Like if I can create my own ICO, I can create my own dApp, I can create my own coin, right? Launch it on an exchange for 50 grand, which is basically what it takes for Uniswap, I think, or SushiSwap is 50 grand to get your coin listed. Trust me, 50 grand to get your coin listed, okay? Just to get it listed on the exchange, okay? And to have it be valued at $10. And Cardano is valued at $1.10. But Cardano is supposed to change the world, right? Like there's no condemnation on Cardano. Cardano is a great project, but it's still just a project without any realized gain yet, fundamentally, in terms of use, right? It's got great promise, right? Absolutely. Okay. But we'll see. But how is it you've got all these DeFi? If you go on to coingecko.com/DeFi and look at all the DeFi coins. And look how a lot of them are valued much higher than Cardano is. Okay? There's a reason for that, mates. A lot of it's tokenomics. A lot of it's also DeFi. A lot of it is the potential, okay? And the overall amount of money that's tied up in these projects, okay? Liquidity pools, all of that, right? But what I do, my plan, and what I try to tell people is, look, let the exchange buy your promising altcoins. So I had an interesting call with a gentleman last week. Okay. And by the way, if you want to get a hold of me, it is a lot easier, and just send me an email or send me a message if you're in a free trading Discord. I've been using the Gmail. If you're on Google, you can do Meet Google now, right? Okay. So like if you're, for example, if you supply to my email, if you're on the email update list, I've got your email address, your Gmail address. You've got my Gmail address. Okay. I can be in the car. I can be anywhere, and we can meet up on Gmail. And it's a lot easier than WebEx, Zoom, whatever. It just is. If you just, want to go over some things, just let me know. Okay. And we'll do that. I have no problem with that. I know a lot of you have time differences and stuff, but it's relatively easy. I realize everyone else is maybe ahead of the game. Young kids, my daughters are well versed in all of this technology stuff like that, for communication. It's very easy. So I could be in the car, boom, and going through it. But let the exchange buy your promising altcoins. So it's like, what I was trying to tell this gentleman was like, look, how much money you want to put $5,000 a month into cryptocurrency. That's your goal. Okay. So you want to invest $5,000 of your money, USD, converted from fiat to crypto, and put it into the market. Got it. All right. So what altcoin should I buy? Okay. That's ultimately the next question is, well, you definitely want to be in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin. Okay. But what altcoins, man? Everyone's talking about altcoins, like altcoin season, all that stuff. What altcoin should I buy, right? You're like, okay. What I tell people is that want to learn leverage trading, okay? This is important because you can put that money, $5,000 into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, boom, and just let it go, okay? That's investing. That's not trading. That's investing. Okay. If you want to leverage trade, you would take a portion of that 5,000 allocate it to leverage trading. Okay. Now, once you've done that and you follow the methods and strategies that are in place, you then take the profit from that. Meanwhile, you still own Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Long in a stack or a bag. Okay. You take the profits from your exchange trades for leverage and then move them over to where you accumulate altcoins on the exchange. Long. Promising altcoins that you believe are going to outperform the market. So you let the exchange pay for your altcoins. It's a very simple strategy. Now, in terms of how you implement your trading strategy, there are a ton of different strategies, obviously, overall. In our group, you can find one simple method that it's not even I didn't create it. Okay. And I follow it. Because when you learn new things that work, I don't care where it comes from. Right. Just have the integrity to communicate to people that, look, I didn't create this method. This method is out there. It was created by, a member of the group, giving back to the group. Basically, this is how he was trading and how he was successful trading. Now it's used by dozens of people that are successfully trading it. And so if you go to the free trading community and you hit the invite and you get into the free trading community, crypto leverage trading group, scroll down on the channel side to where you see Jay's wealth method. Click on that channel, and it is a spreadsheet method that shows how you can compound your trading over the long term, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay. Simply by compounding your trading and where you'll be at by using your earnings and using your rate of return and doing that. So that method is different than trying to swing for the fences and hit a home run by putting $50,000 into Bitcoin today, hoping that it goes to $45,000 next week or next month, right? People do that all the time. That's a method. Buy low, sell high. That's a method, right? And so you want to be able to take a look at that. So Jay came up with that. It's a great method. And easy for a beginner to follow. And again, why not? Learn to earn is the basis of everything. Okay. Not everybody knows all this stuff. I can't tell you the next 5 alt gems to $1 million BS. Okay. You notice how they never bring anybody up on any of those videos that actually made $1 million, right? Where are the people that 8 months ago or a year ago, 5 gems to $1 million, 5 altcoins to $1 million? Where's the social proof? There isn't any. But people still go to those channels and click on that stuff. Okay. And it is what it is. Again, because you're trading behaviors in the market. And right now the market behavior is telling you that you want to be with the whales. You want to be swimming with the whales right now. You don't want to be swimming with the shrimp. Okay? Because the shrimp get eaten. The shrimp get eaten. And that's a sad, sad thing. But that's the reality in markets. Is if you're a shrimp, you're going to get eaten because you're going to get convinced to sell at a loss. And they're going to buy it and sit on it because they have a long-term view. And they don't care what's happening in China. They don't care about China FUD. They don't care about who's president. And you know why they don't care about who's president? Because in 4 years, there's going to be another guy or gal. Okay? That's just a reality. I don't think the president of the United States is going to run again in 4 years. I think the man's like 80-some years old. Okay? I don't see it happening. And there are people who question his ability and mental capacity today. Okay? And he's not even in a full year yet. Okay? So there are some who don't even think he's going to get through 4 years. But he ain't going to serve a second term. They don't care who's president. Right? They don't care what China's doing. At the end of the day, but it's all being fed out to those people, okay, who are made to care because they're clicking it, they're listening to it, and they're acting on it, as opposed to following methods and following, strategies that allow you to do these things. Now, there are plenty of people out there that are going to tell you what's going to happen with Bitcoin in the next month, next 2 months, or 6 months. There's plenty of those channels. This just isn't one of them. Because fundamentally, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Bitcoin's going to trade 24 hours, 7 days a week. And so there are going to be ups and downs in the market. There's going to be inflows and outflows. There's going to be FUD, and there's going to be good news and bad news, right? And you just have to be able to put all of that in the zone of support and resistance and cram it all in there. Because no matter what, Bitcoin has been bouncing off of that 28 to 30,000 level consistently. Now, if it were to break that level and collapse down to 20,000, I would be more receptive to the bearish nature going forward. I don't consider this to be a bear market. Okay? I just don't. And you know what? There are a lot of people who are going to make off that. I just don't think it is. I mean, remember, we started at 4 or 5 grand a year ago, a little over a year ago. Okay? And if you look at from 18, we went from 18, end of the year last year, November, December, from like 18 to 20, all the way to 64, right? So for me, we would have to go all the way back down to 20 and below, break 20,000 below for me to be convinced it's a bear market. Doesn't mean I'm right. Does not mean I'm right. I'll trade it all the way down. And so should you. Trade it all the way down. There's no reason why you can't make money on this market going all the way back, all the way down, and all the way back up. There's no reason for that. Okay? The methods still work. Resistance works. Support works. They're just even converse of each other, right? And that's all you have to do is flip your mindset. Okay. So now I'm looking at, boom. Here we go. Boom. Support, resistance. Let's play this range. Okay. And so that's how you want to do it. So don't get into the China FUD story. Elon Musk, you should not give two shits what Elon Musk does. Because I can tell you, Elon Musk, Tesla's buying Bitcoin. Okay. They're buying Bitcoin, right? And so and I think he just did something about Dogecoin in the last 24 hours again. So Dogecoin now's chart blew up. It was all the way in a head and shoulders, probably going to go back down to 18 cents and below, and could go down to 13 cents. And so what does he do? He takes to Twitter to save his Dogecoin. So Musk is in save mode, okay? So he uses Twitter to influence the market, okay? That's his whole purpose. I mean, think about it. Why is he such a player in crypto? Right? Why? Because nobody cares about SpaceX? You're not relevant if you're going to Mars? Or because your Tesla car company is not relevant anymore? I don't know. Like, why do you feel the need to have to be in crypto? Of all the people in the cryptoverse, think about this perspective. If you're in crypto, if you're on YouTube in crypto, and you talk about Elon Musk all the time, I only talk about him to point out how stupid it all is. But there are people who retweet all of his tweets, who do videos every week about what Elon Musk thinks. Elon Musk, like, he obviously is the crypto overlord genius of the cryptoverse, right? Meanwhile, there are thousands of people, brilliant people in crypto, in blockchain technology, in the developer community that actually understand crypto, that aren't just investors, right? And that's what he is, okay? Looking to capitalize on the market. So his commentary, to me, is always hollow. I'm like, I don't care. What do I care? Other than the fact he's going to move the market. So that moves the social media index, which is a metric you have to pay attention to when you're trading to determine whether or not you're going to sell up or buy down. Okay, because the higher that social media index gets, the greater chance you have of a violent backlash return in the values of Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just a fact. He fuels that. So on the one hand, I welcome it because I don't pay attention to it, but I know people are going to buy into it, drive the price up. It'll get to overbought, and then I'll sell it down. and you can follow it. It works just like RSI. It's like its own RSI. And so it's just that we want to think about. All right. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, mycryptoballers@gmail.com. Join our free trading community. Make sure when you get into that community, hit, make sure you jump your email so you can get the email update. And it would also give you the ability to get a hold of me rather quickly for however long you want to talk or chat about crypto and where the market's going. I will leave you with this. I feel like we've consolidated enough. I feel like we've tested support enough times. I don't have a crystal ball. Like, I can't tell you that there's not going to be some big major news coming in from God knows where that's going to FUD this thing. I just know what I'm seeing on the on-chain and what I'm seeing with active addresses. And what I'm seeing is I think that the retail side has been taken out and shaken down to such levels that we've reached a bottom. That's my personal opinion. It's not financial advice to any of you. You need to do your own due diligence in everything in life. Okay. You are accountable to yourself. And don't blame people. Okay. It's the one thing I can't stand that's entering in the crypto space is whiners and people who blame on social media. Like, know your methods, know your strategies, protect your investments. If you don't protect your investment, you need to look at yourself and why you're in the market to begin with. Okay. You've got to protect your investments. Okay. Because you can't control what you can't control. Okay. You don't know if Elon Musk is going to put out another tweet tomorrow. Okay. You don't. And so because of that, you want to protect your investment. Okay. And you do that with a stop loss. And I can't encourage you that enough. Okay. That, follow the methods and strategies, but always understand that this market is volatile. Okay. And you can play that volatility. All right. But at the same time, you want to protect the investment that you already have open. Okay. And use the exchanges that are available. You can use any exchange you want. I'm not shilling any particular exchanges. I'm not ramming down, exchanges that I have relationships with, whatever. I'm not in that game. Okay. There are plenty of people that do that. Okay. Whatever exchanges you're comfortable with for you to trade on leverage, or even if it's just Coinbase to buy long or to buy a stack, because Coinbase is probably the easiest for most people other than like Venmo or PayPal to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Whatever it is, you're comfortable, because that's what it's about. You need to be comfortable in your trading. Okay. And comfortable with what you're doing. You're not gambling or throwing darts at a board or just listen to some dude, me or anybody else, right? Take what you can get and then apply it to your comfort level of how you trade leverage, or you enter in long in a stacker bag, be it Coinbase or eToro or Robinhood coming up, God forbid, because its IPOs be delayed again. Okay. And so you can use the strategies and methods and kind of adopt them to your exchange, which works for plenty of people. I mean, everybody, it's like 32 flavors, right? Like, everybody likes a different flavor. Okay. And so these exchanges are flavors. And so they all offer different mechanisms and different measures of functionality. And you have to find the one that's right for you. I'm not going to tell you what exchange is right for you. Okay. I can tell you what's right for me and why I use it, but that doesn't mean it'll work for you. There are millions of people out there who like Bybit. I can't stand Bybit. I've been asked a half a dozen times to shill Bybit. Okay. Bye, like an affiliate, whatever. Like, no, because I don't use that exchange. I don't like that exchange. I don't like the bots on that exchange, but people love that exchange. God bless them. I mean, to each his own. Again, flavor. Some people like the Bybit flavor. Some people like Bityard flavor, Bex Plus flavor, Femex flavor. Okay. And it's all about flavors, right? And a lot of times it's the same with altcoins. You got Bitcoin haters, Ethereum haters, right? It's all about flavors. You got to find the right flavor for you and then apply the methods and strategies that we talk about in the group and work them as best you can on that exchange. Now, if it's not possible to work it on the exchange because some exchanges don't have some functionalities, right, that others have, that's when you need to think about making a move. All right, mates, I think I've taken up enough of your time. I appreciate you watching and, tuning in, listening up. If you got any questions, please comment. If you're just on YouTube, you can comment in the comment section or send me an email or join the free trading Discord. Pop a comment in there. There are plenty of mates in that group that'll answer probably before I get to it. And that's the beauty of that Discord. And I hope everybody has, if you're in the United States, I hope everybody has a safe and joyous holiday July 4th weekend celebrating Independence Day. And if you're like me, getting ready to hit out and watch the Euro 2020 that's being played in 2021, it's kind of interesting. Euro for the weekend, kind of down with that, and kind of see what happens with that. And that's where we are. So again, like I said, hope everybody has a great weekend, and please like and subscribe to the channel and come join us and let's have a conversation.